What's up? Welcome to the video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about why 99% of videographers get stuck and get stuck quite bad, and they get stuck for a fucking long time. And I know because I was once stuck myself, and I work with a lot of clients who are also stuck. And I'm going to explain to you very, very simply why it happens and kind of how you can get out of it. So to begin with, you have beginners and then they move into freelancers, and then you can kind of, as you get good and you kind of lock things in and get your positioning and your client acquisition models going, that's when you kind of transition into a business owner and you're going to hit six figures and beyond. So I only really tend to work with people around here, and then I help them come into freelancer and then scale up to business owner. If you're around here, there's probably no point you watching the video because there's a lot of things that you kind of need to overcome before you're ready to work with a coach. But let me walk you through it anyway. So beginners who are earning between 0 and 3K per month, these are the things they're typically going to have issues with, if not all of them. And this is why they're so far behind. So A, they have no offer. They just offer videography, which isn't an offer. It's just like an industry. It's like a service. There is no offer that solves a specific pain point for a specific niche or a specific avatar. Sorry, a lot of specifics there. They lack confidence, so they're probably going to have some pretty strong imposter syndrome because their results and their experience isn't backed up yet. They're going to have no systems. Most importantly, they're going to have no client acquisition systems, which is probably what's going to kill them or keep them in that state for a very, very long time, or a time that's just so much longer than it needs to be, which means they have no leads. And because they have no leads, they're not going to grow. And this is the biggest kicker, in my opinion, out of everything, is they have no positioning. So they don't know who they should be targeting. They don't know who they should be helping. They don't know what they're doing. They've literally just picked up a camera and thought, yeah, I want to be a videographer, with having no understanding from the business point of view, why someone would hire you or why someone should hire you. And you'll get jobs. Don't get me wrong, you'll definitely get jobs. But the jobs that you do get will be from people who have no idea what video is or how it works or how it should be used. So that's like not scalable. You know, it's like trying to sell cars to people who don't have driving licenses. It's not a long-term good business model. It's just not going to work. They're going to lack mega clarity because of all of these things. They don't know what they should focus on. And more importantly, they don't know what they don't know. And if their ego gets in the way, they're not going to learn it. And they're definitely not ready to start investing in coaches. And because of that, they're going to stay stuck for a long time. And that's typically why I don't work with beginners, because they don't see the value in the coaching like the freelancers and the biz owners do, because they understand that if you want to get to the next stage, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. I didn't grow my agency to 500K a year by just reading a couple of business books and throwing shit at the wall. I hired mentors, and it unlocked these different stages for me, which you can definitely do without mentors. It just takes a lot longer and a lot more trial and error. And to be honest, it probably costs you a lot more money, because you're going to, when you get into the whole paid ad section, you're going to be throwing money at the wall. It's not going to do shit for a long time. So yeah, to echo on that, they've got no strategy, no sales experience. So even if they got a hot lead, even if they got a hot lead on the call, on the Zoom call, they've got no idea how to sell, and they don't even know what they're selling. They're just selling, I'll give you my time with a camera. That shit just don't fly anymore, man. It's just not going to fly anymore. You need to be in a better position. But look, I'm not gonna hover on beginners for too long, because like I said, not my ideal client, because I know my target positioning, and it's basically beginners who are almost becoming freelancers. That's set between 2 and 5K, and then freelancers themselves, and then up into this graph. Once you're up here, you're kind of at the level that I got to. So I wouldn't say I'm the best coach to teach you it. I reckon I can get you to like 300-400K a year based on the strategies I did, if you're willing to put the work in. But beyond that, if you're looking for a 7-figure coach, I'm not that guy, and that's okay. I'm willing to say it. But if you want to get to those sort of numbers, I can definitely help you. So a freelancer, where are they? So they're typically going to be making between 3 and 6K a month, probably more on the 3K side, and they have a super weak offer. So theirs would be something in the region, and I'm going to string a lot of ears here. They'll have a day rate, and they'll have like a post-production package where they'll offer, we'll come and do a shoot for you, and we'll do this post-production, and we'll give you these things for social media or whatever, or what, they just follow the brief. They just follow the brief. Like, oh, you want a video that does this? Here you go. It looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Does it do anything? Does it have results? Does it have a hook and messaging? And is it going to get the kind of results that we want it to do? Oh, I don't know. I just kind of followed the brief and made it look nice. Sick. Yeah. Client's going to love that long term. Inconsistent confidence. And this really comes down to lack of direction, poor positioning, and a weak offer. You're going to have inconsistent confidence because you are going to have lack of work and inconsistent work, and it's going to be very much a feast or famine cycle. And because of that, you don't know if you're good. And because you're not getting results, you don't know if you're good. You're going to have insufficient or inefficient systems. So you probably have a shitty CRM, if you even have a CRM. You have no email sequencing. You have no automation when it comes to invoicing and quotations. And you have nothing when it comes to client acquisition models. Nothing. You are literally probably relying on referrals alone. And because work's so sporadic, when you're in a quiet period and the lead comes in, you underprice it because you're scared of losing the work, because you just need some money to come in. And because of that, you've kind of got this scarcity mindset from being a beginner still that hasn't quite gone away. And that's costing you a lot of money. And the easiest way to solve that, to be honest, one of the best, if not only ways to solve it, is to solve your lead acquisition model. So if you imagine yourself as a freelancer and you have these problems with inconsistent confidence, lack of direction, and struggling with sales, stuff like that, all of this would kind of get resolved if you had 3 to 5 leads in your door every day. If you thought, fucking hell, I don't care if this guy says no to this price because I've got 2 other sales calls to do today that I'll pitch to. Once you're in that position, your confidence skyrockets because you move away from scarcity mindset and you kind of grow into the abundance mindset where you know that there's enough work out there, and there is, by the way. This whole notion of a saturated market is complete tosh. That is very much a mindset of beginners and like early freelancers, and it's because they don't know what the fuck they're doing and they don't know their niche. And the word find your niche gets thrown around a lot, but it gets thrown around a lot for very, very, very good reason. And I've done a separate video about this, but I'll kind of give you the crux of it. But basically, if you imagine you have 3 videographers and a client comes along who is, I don't fucking know, a garden center, and they're looking to hire a videographer to do a new campaign that's going to help talk about their new Christmas strategy. I'm literally just making shit up as I go along. 2 of the videographers are just content creators, videographers. They make nice shit, but that's their message. And then the 3rd videographer, he's like, I'm a videographer that specializes in working with the home and garden industry, specifically with content that will boost their online conversions. You have those 3 videographers pitch for the work. Who do you think fucking wins? It's not hard to guess. And the amazing thing is that videographer who has that kind of niche and offering and positioning, he's in a league of his own. He's in the market of his own. He doesn't have to compete on price. So when the other 2 videographers put their prices in, and then this other guy puts his price in, the garden center might turn around and say, oh, these other 2 videographers, they came in, let's just say they came in cheaper than you. You can turn around and say, yes, but are they an expert in this industry? Do they have the track record in this industry? Big key takeaway. And what are their testimonials and client results in that same industry? Oh, well, they haven't worked with a garden center before, or one of them has, and it was like 2 years ago. Okay, cool. Well, if you want to hire one of them and, roll the dice on whether it's going to work or not, that's up to you. If you jump out of a plane, you're not going to use the cheapest parachute. If you want the results that you say you do, I can deliver them. Because you've been working in that niche for a long time, and because you understand the pain points of that industry, because you've been in it for a while, you can get really fucking confident. And once you get really good, guys, you can actually just put guarantees on the work. You can say like, look, if you pay this price, I can guarantee you I will get the conversions that you want. And if I don't get them, I'll work with you for free until I do. And that might sound really scary to you, and it should be. Because if that sounds scary to you, it means you're not good enough. It means you're not good enough at your craft, or you haven't been in the niche long enough to know what you can and can't do. Imagine for the next 3 months, you worked in the same niche, doing like the same kind of videos in the sense of what you were delivering for the client. The videos themselves could be totally different and unique, but the results have to be similar. And let's say you work with 3 or 4 clients across 3 or 4 different campaigns, and every single one you've nailed it and you've gotten the results. Sometimes it's been a bit harder, sometimes it's been a bit easier, sometimes it's taken longer, but in the end, you've gotten the results. And the 5th time then you get a client come in, the 5th client, and they say, "Oh, can you do this?" And you know for sure you can hit these results, you can do it now. This is when you put your prices up big time and you say, "Look, I can definitely do this for you. I'll put a guarantee on it, but you're going to have to pay some big money for it." And then the conversation doesn't come about how much you are. The conversation comes about like, "Okay, cool. How confident are you you can actually resolve this?" And if the problem itself is a money related problem, so it's like an ROI, i.e., we want to do a campaign that is going to drive enough sales on the social media account and the website so we sell out, right? You need to make a really fucking good ad, or you need to make a really good campaign that's like going to start, stopping thumbs, stopping eyeballs, which honestly, once you get practice in it, isn't as hard as it sounds, especially not for a videographer, because you have the skills to do it. You don't think you do, but you do big time. Everyone who's making, there's people on social media who are making fucking millions and millions of views, and they're using their phone and they edit in CapCut. So guys, if you're sat there on Prem and you're shooting on Sony, obviously you don't need all the kit, but like you are so much further ahead when it comes to this industry than you think you are. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on niche. Poor positioning, that's exactly what it is. You also have, as a freelancer at this stage, you have lack of clear direction. You don't know what you should be doing day to day. And this is something I struggled with for years, guys, is a reactive strategy. You're just waiting for leads to come in. You're reacting to the market. You're reacting to what clients say, and nothing's really proactive. And you don't know, when you're quiet, you don't really know what to do apart from like clean up processes or maybe edit some social media stuff. And like, none of that's going to get you more work, man. None of that's going to get you more work. You need to be way more proactive in a sense that's actually going to move the needle. 80% of your results in your business will be done by 20% of the input, and 20% of the results will be done by 80% of the input. So that means 20% of the shit you do every day is going to move 80% of that business needle day to day. So we need to get really clear what that 20% is and just do fucking loads of it, or way more than you probably are. I mean, let's be real. A lot of you have no client acquisition model, so you're not doing anything day to day. You're just waiting for leads to come in. Maybe you're DMing people on Instagram. Like, that's not going to work, man. Like, you need to be on the platforms, in the networks, making content and doing cold outreach and building flywheels for people that's actually going to benefit from it. And struggling with sales, you've had no formal you've had no formal training in sales. You don't understand what objection handling is, and you don't know like how to position yourself in a way that you have complete confidence in what you're selling. A lot of the time, guys, this is a really good analogy, but one of my mentors that I hired, it's like, it's not actually about the price. When they say no to the price, it's not about the price, it's about the value. They don't think they're getting enough value for the prices. For example, if I came to you and said, "Hey man, do you want to buy a Ferrari for $1 million?" You'd be like, "Fuck no," right? A, I haven't got $1 million, and B, I'm not paying 4 times the price for it. But if I came to you and said, "Hey man, do you want to buy a Ferrari for $5,000?" Even if you haven't got $5,000 in your bank account, you're going to fucking make sure you get that money somehow so you can buy a Ferrari for 5K, because the value is so much higher than the price. Once you start making offers to your clients and the value is so high, they feel like an idiot to say no, just like on a 5K Ferrari, the conversations become easy. So it's not about, we don't have to we don't have to handle objections when it comes to pricing. We have to handle objections when they think there's not enough value in the deal. Okay. So it's literally a conversation of, if they're worried about price, you say, "Okay, look, how can I make this more valuable for you? How can I input more? What sort of guarantees can I put in? What sort of content is going to make this deal even sweeter for you?" And eventually it gets to the point they think, like, we literally can't say no at this point. It's ridiculous. This is twice the amount we wanted to spend, but look at what we're getting. We can't walk away. And that's literally like 101 sales strategy, what you should be doing with objection handling. Okay, cool. So that's beginner and freelancer. If you're around this stage, guys, even a little bit before, I've got a link below. Book a sales call with me. We can have a one-to-one chat, and 2 scenarios to come from it. Either we start working together, fantastic, or B, I can give you loads of action insights and tips and kind of put you in the direction of where you want to go, free of charge. You can use my time, ask me questions. I'd love to convert you into a client and help you get up to here. But if for whatever reason we're not a good fit, I can give you some great advice. Okay, cool. So biz owner, 100K a year and beyond. So six-figure videographer. They have transitioned from being a freelancer to a business owner, and that's what I was in my agency. I had a team of 5 editors, shooters, creative directors, and then director of sales and operations, which was my role. How do you get there, and what does that sort of person look like? Like, what is their identity at this point? Because all of these things, guys, are just identity shifting. So we're going from no leads to unreliable leads to consistent lead flow. We're going from no offer to weak offer to irresistible offer. So irresistible offer, 5K Lamborghini, 5K Ferrari. It's like, fucking hell, I want that so bad. I'll get the money from somewhere just because I know there's so much value there. And because you know from all the sales calls and the leads coming in, all the leads knocking on your door, wanting to have conversations with you, because they're all there, your confidence becomes unshakable. You know the exact value you can deliver. You know how you can deliver it. You know the results you can get. You can put guarantees on it. Like, and you have so many sales calls and leads coming through the door. You're just like, man, I don't give a shit if this guy says no, because the next guy is going to say yes. That's where the unshakable confidence comes from, also from experience. Then we have scalable systems. So we put things in place, which I'll touch on later on the next bit, where we will help you to transition and buy back some of your time. So that's like, for example, hiring an editor, hiring someone to do sales calls for you, doing paid ads instead of cold outreach, so we can automate workflows, loads of little things like that. We can put systems in place so we can automate a lot of the problems. If we can't automate it, we'll delegate it. At this point as well, we're going to have consistent lead flow. So we're going to have what my mentor told me, which was an amazing way of putting it, is we want to have a lever to pull. Because with this industry, as you know very much around here, it comes in waves. You're either really fucking busy or really fucking quiet, feast or famine. And that doesn't really change up here. But what we do have is from the systems that we build out, we're going to have levers to pull so that when we're looking at our calendar and we can see, like, it's December now, right? So we can see in like February, we're really quiet. We can pull a lever, we can start doing cold outreach strategies, build a flywheel, or doing paid ads, so we can turn it on and we can start booking work in for February. So that way we know we can always just pull that lever on, get some leads in, book some work in, and then if we get too busy, we can just turn it off for a bit. We can just pause it. That's the beauty of it. Or you just fucking crank it on all the time and you build them out a massive team. Truth be told, that's something that I wanted to do when I first started. Then I built out a team of 5 and realized, like, you just get more and more headaches at that point. Like, you make way more money, but also you can make a lot of money with a lean team. Like, with a team of 3 or 4, you can still make 500K a year quite comfortably. So at that point, it becomes, as well with videography and creative services, you kind of just turn yourself into a bit of a creative factory. And if that's your goal, man, more power to you. For me personally, it wasn't. I didn't want to become a factory. They also have premium positioning. They know exactly who they are. They know exactly what they're offering, and they know exactly who they're offering it to, and they know the pain points of the customer. So it's like, let's say they've chosen the industry of real estate and they've worked with so many real estate agents. They know all the problems that they have when it comes to content and leads, for example. Like, I know from working with estate agents when I ran my own creative company that some of their biggest pain points was in lettings, and it was getting more landlords onto their lettings department. So we built out a massive ad campaign which targeted landlords within the area, and then we did an insane offer. So it was like, oh, if you sign up with us as your lettings agent, we'll give you the first 3 months free, and if you refer us to another landlord, we'll give you it free for the first 6 months. And to landlords who love money, that's why they're landlords. They can just save more money, and if you save $1, you make $1. So they just got loads of landlords through the door, and we did it by running some simple Facebook ads, but we just made the creative really fucking appealing to landlords. And like, this is just like very medium to like low level marketing. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say by premium positioning. Like, they knew every time they spoke to a real estate agent, they knew the problems they were going to have before they'd even said it. And this is where it gets really magical, is when you get really good at your niche, you can foresee the problems they're going to have later on. So for example, the problems a beginner is going to have, I already know. If I fix all of these, I know what problems they're going to have when they get into here before they've even got there. And then I know what problems these guys are going to have when they start climbing this up and how to solve them. you can do, because I know this niche very fucking well because I ran an agency for 9 years, 8, 9 years. And when you work in the niche and the industry for long enough, you can start really forecasting. So like shitty estate agents, mid-tier estate agents, big estate agents, and you know every point what sort of problems you can solve with your marketing and your videography. You have a proactive strategy, so you're doing something every single day, or at this point you probably automated it and delegated it to someone else to do it for you. And then either you're doing the sales calls or you've hired a sales guy to take the calls for you and do conversions, so you can focus on whatever part of the business you want to. The wonderful thing about this position, and this is something that I kind of miss, I suppose, about running my agency, although I find coaching so much more fulfilling, is you, at this point, you can put yourself in the part of the business that you love the most. So if you just love doing fucking photography day to day and everything else, you just want to you want to outsource the editing, outsource the retouching, outsource the sales, you can just do all that, or hire someone to do it for you. If you get into this point and you think, I want to put the tools down, I don't want to be behind the camera anymore, I want someone else to do it, I want to put my feet up a bit more, I only want to work Monday to Wednesday, you can hire a photographer and they can do the work for you. You can hire a videographer, they can do the work for you, and you can just handle the sales in the back end, which is a very normal thing, what people do when they get here. That's kind of the position I went into. So yeah, that's the workflow of why 99% of videographers get stuck. 90% here, and then 9% here, and then you got the 1% that make it. Cool, I hope that helps. I also want to show you what a very simplified version of the funnel that I work with my guys in my community and my coaching, what we do. And if you've never seen a funnel before, I'm going to explain it to you like you're 5. And if you have seen it before, still pay attention because you might learn something. But this is basically how we turn fucking no one into a paid client. And this is a very, very old way of looking at things. And I'm going to explain it to you in a way that suits the industry. So we have traffic at the top of the funnel. And all that traffic you get isn't going to turn into leads. So traffic is like someone who might be interested, and then leads is like someone who is interested, right? So let's say that I'm getting traffic to my Instagram, and that person could be like a graphic designer who I don't tend to work with. So like I'm getting the traffic, but they're not really a lead. Whereas I get a videographer who's struggling to hit 6 figures. Cool, that's a good lead. Let's get him on a sales call. Have a sales call. Great, he wanted to go for it. Client, turn into a client. That's basically my funnel. So how this works for you as a videographer is most of you are going to have an issue of traffic at the top. Like this is your biggest problem. Leads and sales, you don't have problems with this because this is your fucking bottleneck right now. So there's a few ways we can do it. We do cold outreach, or we build something called a LinkedIn flywheel, which is basically cold outreach mixed with organic content. And it works very, very, very well. But it only works well once we've figured out our niche. So we need to do niche, offer, positioning, these 3 things at the top. And then we do a LinkedIn flywheel. And then after a few weeks of that, we'll start getting consistent leads through. And when we get bigger, we can start automating that with ads. We can start doing meta ads to our target audience. So let's say you work with, I don't know, dentists. You can start running ads like, are you a dentist in Leeds or the surrounding area and you want more clients? Well, I'm a videographer marketer, a videographer strategist, a video strategist. I can build out these sort of systems for you and help you get clients through the door, or help you increase your brand conversions or brand awareness, or whatever the fuck they want based on what you know through market research, what their pain points and problems are. So once we have the traffic sorted, which is the first step that we would do in the coaching, is we would then automate content. We'd automate with content and delegate with editors. You're probably thinking, why would I delegate with an editor when I can edit? Because when this is built out, you're not going to have time to do it all. You're going to need to hire an editor at some point, or you just block out Fridays or Mondays or whatever to do your own content, and you can't do shoots on those days. I mean, this comes down to personal preference on what you want to do with your life, but you basically will fix the traffic problem. The traffic turns into leads. When you know you have good leads, we can do some qualification, making sure they're actually a good fit before we get on a call with them. For example, if like this designer came through and I was doing some qualifications, like, man, like I can help you as a designer, but I'd rather work with videographers because it's just a niche that I know so much better. And then we got on sales calls, and like industry standard for sales calls is like 30% on conversions. Anything higher than that, it means you're too cheap. So you want 70% of people to be saying no, because that means that you're priced at like the correct level. So that's what we do. And we can also automate this by putting someone who's really fucking good at sales onto this. But I would recommend at the start, at least for the first year, you get very good at qualification and very good at sales, because then what's going to happen is you're going to get really good at understanding your customers' pain points and how to solve them, and then you can automate loads of other things. And this is where it becomes really fucking wonderful, is when you have sales calls with these clients and they give you objections like, oh, it's too expensive, or oh, I don't know if it's going to work, or oh, I've tried this before, it didn't work, right? We can turn those sales objections into pieces of content in the flywheel. So then the people that we want to work with are seeing our content, and we're literally talking about how we solve those objections that we know they already have because we've spoken to other people in their niche. It's a very wonderful way of looking at marketing. And then the amazing thing as well is once they turn to clients, we get them results, and then we use the client testimonials to become part of the cold outreach traffic and content. I know videographers very well who literally have got to the point where they're so dialed in on their niche and their offer, and they're making so much money that 90% of their content they post on LinkedIn is client results. They don't post BTS, they don't post like objections, they don't post like fucking nice films or anything. All they talk about is other clients in their niche they've worked with, and these are the results they've gotten. And it works so well, because all of these clients are just looking at it thinking, fucking hell, that's like the 7th client he's posted about this week in my niche, and he solved their issue for them. It just works so well. And that's the long-term goal. And just to reiterate on some of the things I spoke about earlier, if we want to eliminate stuff that we don't need to do, and then automate and then delegate. So never automate something that can be eliminated, and never delegate something that can be automated or streamlined. Otherwise, you waste someone else's time instead of your own, which now wastes your hard-earned cash. So that basically means don't delegate a task to someone if you can automate it. So don't delegate cold outreach to someone if we can just replace it with paid ads, for example. But yeah, that's basically how the funnel works, and this is why a lot of you are staying stuck. My pitch to you guys is if you're in this area and you want to fucking sail through this without all the pain and get into this area, pretty comfortably, I can help you do that. And we would do it with things like this. The actual funnel I'll go with you will be a lot more detailed, and we can figure out like what your best approach is. We can figure out your niche, your positioning, your offer, and really dial it in. The first few weeks is all going to be about clarity. We're just going to get you so much clarity that you understand completely what you're doing and who you're doing it for. And we really don't want to be picking a niche that you don't want to do long term. So don't worry, we can pick a niche that you love, and we'll do market research to make sure there's actually money in it. And furthermore, even though we are going to be putting you into a niche, it doesn't mean that's always going to be the work that you do forever. Like, let's say you choose real estate, for example. If someone who comes along and they offer you, they want you to do a shoot for them, and you really want to do the shoot, you can still do the shoot, man. Like, don't worry. Like, it just means your main message is to that niche. But if other things come along, by all means, do it. Like, it's not going to harm the business at all. So yeah, guys, like I said, if you're around here, book a call. I'd love to have a conversation with you. If I can't help you, or if we're not a good fit, it's all good. Like, we can have a half an hour chat. I can give you all the advice and tips you need to maybe get to this bit, and then we can work together. But if not, no pressure. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Peace out. Have a great day.